eyes wide shut. I'd just gotten off work when my phone rang. I didn't notice whose number it was. I muted it as I was way too tired to talk to anyone. Shortly after, I pulled up to my mommy's house. A strong sense of grief consumed me. It was such an overwhelming, unsettling, weird feeling like never before. Honestly, it felt as if I was losing something. I hadn't had that feeling before, so I was feeling a little uneasy. More like on edge? Let's just say I was feeling some type of way, with anxiety as it was the unknown factor that consumed me. When I stepped inside her house, I immediately headed towards her room to check on her. "Mommy, are you okay?" I asked. "Yeah, baby, why you ask?" she replied. My phone rang again this time. It was my house number that showed across the caller ID. What now? I thought to myself. Hello? "Sis, where you at?" my baby brother Samuel asked. "Over Mom's house? Why?" "Carter just called and said something is wrong." Sam told me in a panicked voice something is real wrong. "What do you mean? What happened?" I asked him. "He called and asked where you were. I told him you were at work. He then asked to speak with Armando. I told him he was asleep, and he told me to wake him up because that it might be his last time to talk to him." "What do you mean, the last time?" I asked. "I don't know, sis. All he said was something about the police is at this house and that I need to wake Armando up. By the time I got back to the phone, he had hung up. I tried to call him back, but he didn't answer." "I'm scared, sis. He didn't seem or sound like himself." My brother sounded frantic, which sent my mind racing 100 miles per millisecond. "Something's up, sis. Something's not right. You have to find out what the hell is going on and call me right back." The phone call with my brother left my mind racing, which had bad thoughts flooding my mind. My phone then rang again. It was the strange number from before. Who could this be? I thought to myself. I don't normally answer numbers that I don't know, but something told me to answer this one. "Hello?" I answered. It was Carter on the other end. He was in a rage. His voice was deep and monotone as if he had been drinking and taking his medication at the same time. He definitely didn't sound like his normal self. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. All I could make out of what he was saying is bitch as the phone was going in and out, sounding warped. There was a beating noise in the background and it sounded like it was the door. Bam, bam, bam. I heard it again. Who the hell is that? And what is going on? I asked. "Carter, open the door. Come out," the voice on the other end said. "What in the world is going on?" I yelled. "Who is that, Carter?" "We have you surrounded. Just come out now and surrender," the voice yelled in the background. "We have the premises secure. You need to come out with your hands up." The police at the door, and I told them cats, I ain't coming out. Between you, Monique, and that wife of mine, you bitches have pushed me over the edge. Take care of my son. Do you hear me? Take care of my damn son. I was in total shock. "Do you hear me, Storm?" Mommy heard me talking and grabbed the phone from me. "Carter, what's going on, baby?" she asked him in a concerned motherly voice. "Oh, Miss Darlene, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was you. I thought you were your daughter." "Baby, what's going on with you?" "I can't do this shit no more, and I want you and Storm to take care of my baby. I don't know if I'm going to make it out of here, but I want her to take care of my baby boy," he said in a pleading but demanding voice. The call dropped and all I heard was the dial tone. I was confused, scared, concerned, and that made me panic. The thought alone of what the hell was about to happen sent chills through my body, shook my core like no other. A sense of fear accompanied me. I couldn't shake it. For some reason that felt like it was going to be our last conversation. Right then, the TV show was interrupted with breaking news. Just in, a military man holding himself hostage in his apartment. SWAT team is clearing out the block for a possible standoff near the Air Force Base. What the hell? I thought to myself. I didn't have time to stand there and process what he just said or what the news was talking about. I had to get there and fast. I knew there was no good come from this. I had to get there to save him from whatever it was he had going on. Sitting there thinking about it wasn't going to get me any answers. I picked up our son and went flying on Route 4, the highway connector. All I was wondering was what was the bottom line? What was the reason behind him snapping this time? I wanted to be well informed so I could approach him one-on-one and calm him down. I didn't see red lights, stop signs, or anything. All I could do was drive. I pulled up speeding as if I was still on the highway. I turned right onto the corner of where his apartment sits, and as soon as our baby boy seen it, he got excited. "Mommy, we at my daddy's house," he started yelling from the back seat. "Dada house, Mommy! Yeah, I get to see my dada!" I didn't know how to respond or what to say. All I saw were flashing lights, news vans, every station, and reporters from everywhere. There were police from every district, including the military police, and not to mention the SWAT team. It seemed surreal, as if I was playing a star role in a bad dream. I was confused as to why law enforcement and reporters were here and just for Carter. This was more like a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from, although I kept pinching my face. Shit was real and unfortunately my reality. I just can't believe this was really happening to us. Everything seemed like it was playing out in slow motion and all our plans and dreams were going down the drain. I jumped out of the car to get the baby out of his car seat. Ma'am, who are you? A reporter asked, but I ignored her. I ignored them as long as I could. A bunch of reporters ran my way, catching me off guard. They put the cameras straight on us. Ma'am, who are you? The same reporter asked, which irritated the hell out of me. Lights were shining bright directly in our faces. The glare was blinding us. My son started crying and gripped me tighter than ever before, and it scared me shitless. Mama, is Dada okay? My baby asked me with tears rolling down his face. Ma'am, how do you know the person inside? One of the reporters asked. My name is Storm, and this is our son. Carter is his father, and I need to get in there so he can see his son, I told her. The woman reporter to the left of me came and got directly in my face. Can I ask you a few questions? As she pulled out her microphone, giving me no time to answer or rebuttal. She told me to state my name and the relation you are to the man inside. Then she asked if that was one thing that I could say to him right now. What would it be? I turned to the camera and said, Don't make any rational decisions, babe. Please come out. We need you. At that moment, Armando cried for his dada. I guess he was starting to figure out something was wrong. After those words, I immediately headed toward Carter's apartment, holding my son tighter than ever. There was a truck full of SWAT. The negotiator headed my direction. Once he locked eyes with me, he signaled for me. I wanted to act like I didn't see him, but I was too afraid of that big-ass gun, so I went anyway. Ma'am, how do you know the subject? Excuse me? I replied. How do you know him? He asked. I further explained to him that this was my ex, my son's father. He called me saying some crazy shit, so I need to get in there, sir, please. I pleaded with the officer. Did you just tell me that he called you? He asked with his eyebrows raised. Yes, sir, I replied. The negotiator told me they've been trying to get a hold of Carter since earlier this evening when he called 911 and were unsuccessful. He told me that Carter called 911 and said that he was thinking about killing himself. What? I screamed. What did he say to you? He asked. After rambling off the story again, he asked me, Is he a threat to us, ma'am? I looked at him with a blank face, hesitant, not wanting to answer. Ma'am, is he a threat to himself? The officer asked. I told him that he had done this stunt a few other times. This doesn't surprise me. We know, and we are very well acquainted, he informed me. We've had a run-in with him before at the club. That's news to me, I told him. The officer ended up telling me that apparently Carter had the club shut down because of his thoughtless actions that particular night. Oh yeah, Carter knows us very well, the negotiator commented. When? Are you kidding me? I was in total shock. I never knew that he did something of this magnitude in public. That was the first I heard of that shenanigans. You think you know someone after years. What number did he call you from? Because the number we have is disconnected? I hesitated, but it was too late. Besides, I had already told him that he called me, so I couldn't backpedal now. I walked straight into that one. There was no exit or fixing it at this point. Damn, I thought to myself. Damn it, damn it, damn it! I yelled as I looked through my phone slowly, just trying to stall time a little more and think of a way to get out of it. I couldn't think of one fast enough, so I gave him the correct number. Ma'am, I need you to stay put, he told me as he walked towards the others. A few minutes later, he returned. Ma'am, we have been unsuccessful with contacting him. He has ceased all communication with us. We are going to disconnect his phone, turn off his power, and water, he nonchalantly explained to me. Excuse me? I yelled. What the fuck do you mean? You can't do that, I said in a panic. Well, ma'am, he is refusing all communication with us. I have no other choice. We can't even get him on the phone to talk to us at this point, he logically explained. We've cleared out the block, and I'm going to need you and your son to go over there in the secure area. He pointed, signaling me to go across the street. He said, We're going in. My heart sank. Sir, please, you cannot do that to him, I cried, screamed and pleaded. He just returned from the war. He has mental issues because of it. You can't just cut his utilities off like that, sir. He's going to feel like his back is against the wall, like he's back in Iraq. You'll leave him with no other choice but to go into war mode, I explained. He is bipolar and schizophrenic. Don't do that, sir, please. I powerlessly cried. Ma'am, we need you and your son to step over there. This art is dangerous. Bullets may start flying, so I need you to go immediately. He yelled, ignoring my concerns. I pleaded with him, falling to the ground, praying for a miracle. I felt hopeless and helpless, and I knew that was my last chance at saving him. Ma'am, get up, he demanded with a stern voice. You have to go now. I continued pleading with him, screaming, begging. I was trying as a last attempt to convince him to change his mind and try another tactic. Sir, all he needs is to see his son. Can you just let us in so I can talk to him and convince him to come out without force? I yelled. I know this man. I know what I'm doing. Just let me try, please. I can get through to him and make this end peacefully. I don't want his life in jeopardy. Ma'am, we cannot do that because you never know a person's mental state. We deal with this all the time. We can't be held responsible if he kills you and your son. I threw myself to him with tears falling like a waterfall. Please listen to me. He would never hurt me or his son. He has tried to kill himself before, 2 times before, and I've been successful at talking him out of it. He needs to be reassured that everything is going to be okay. Here's what we need to do. I'll keep our son here with you and just let me go in for Christ's sake, damn. Sir, please, I cried. Still ignoring my cries, he turned his back away from me and signaled at the others with his hand. They began marching towards the apartment in unison. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I felt my heart skip beats. I think I stopped breathing. This felt like a bad dream I couldn't wake up from. There was a squad of SWAT. The first one had a shield and something that looked like a machine gun. The others had their guns drawn, moving in on him, marching closer. That scared the hell out of me. I glanced to the side and saw snipers on the roof. I instantly thought to myself that this whole thing was unreal and unnecessary. The negotiators said they had to treat him like that because he was military and trained like one of them. I screamed and cried helplessly. I kept calling his phone, hung up, and called again at least 100 times. I'd never asked for a miracle or a prayer until this moment in my life. All I wanted to do was hear his voice more than anything else in this world. Armando was so afraid and confused. My poor baby didn't know what was going on. I was pissed. There was nothing I could have done, and it was out of my control. I didn't know what else to do. I just wanted to let him know that they were coming in. Our son just kept screaming. I had to get him out of there and alive. I tried to call his phone again. This time it went straight to voicemail. Damn, they cut the motherfucker off.